This video is a tutorial on how to draw the drawer for our wood crafting project. Alright, so on the screen you see our drawer, a 3D model of it. Alright, it's actually made of many different parts. In fact, what I'm going to do is kind of break this down into really two main parts. The first main part here out in front, is sometimes called the front or face of the drawer. Okay, that's the visual portion of it. Okay, it's made out of our solid alder, at least on the outside, and then the inner member here is a panel that is made out of a plywood. Okay, and then the second major part then is the inner drawer, and that's actually made out of 5 different parts. So if we actually break this down into different main parts here, here's the inner drawer. I do have this component right here. Eventually we need to draw that. That's called a runner. The drawer would slide on that component, and so that's why we have this notch here. But this is the inner drawer. You can see it's made out of 5 different parts. Okay, so what I need to do is to break this apart here. Now you can kind of see how it goes together visually. And we have a front and back pieces. Those are distinct because they have the notch in it, all right, which runs on, well, the runner piece right over here, okay? And then the left and right sides, and then the bottom piece. So those are the 5 components that we're going to draw. Although the left and right sides are the same, and then the front and back are the same. So really we only need to draw 3 components of the 5 since there are duplicates of each other. Okay, so that's the inner drawer. Let's go to the drawer face. Here's the drawer face, and you can see it's made out of 5 different parts. Okay, the vertical members on the left and right sides are the stiles, and then the rails top and bottom, and then the panel in between. All right, so those are the components that we need to draw. Okay, all right, we are going to do it on a graph paper now. I'm going to just kind of pull back here, so I turn my graph paper sideways so we can fit all these drawings on. I went ahead and made a mini sketch on how we're going to lay this out on our paper. So up here in the upper left corner of our page, we're going to have the face, and then the inner drawer, just kind of a 3-dimensional drawing of it, and then a more detailed drawing of our front and back of our drawer, and then the left and right in the middle, and then the bottom. Okay, so that's how we're going to lay things out for this drawing here. All right, so I'm going to move this in here, and what we have here is some scaling that we need to consider. So it'd be a good idea just to pause this and write these scaling values down. So if you're using graph paper, that's great. However, if you do not have graph paper, I want you to scale, and some of these values that we're going to need are right here. Okay, so go ahead and write those down. I did the math there. And then also I'm going to flip this over so we can see a little bit more math. Okay, so over on the left hand side, in this case in the upper left, 12 in a 1/4 inch scale, that would actually be 3 inches in length. The next one is 6 inches, and then if we convert that to a 1/4 inch scale, it would be 1.5. And then 2, of course we've seen this before, if we convert that, it ends up being a 1/2 inch long. Okay, so again, good idea to just pause and write those down, and probably not come back to these. So I'm going to pause myself. All right, so I'm going to move on and start drawing the face, and I'm going to do this in the upper left hand corner. So 6 inches in height is its actual dimension, and then 12 inches in width. Each of these members right here are 2 inches. So I guess I could write that right in there. Those are 2-inch member stiles and rails. Okay, and then eventually I'm going to come down here. What I'm going to do here is draw the front, and then I'll worry about the depth coming in. And my height for my inner drawer then is 4 3/4 by 10.5. Don't forget this little notch right there. And then I'll eventually come back and do the depth. Okay, so I'm going to pause here, start laying things out somewhere in the upper left hand corner. I'm going to take a little bit of time to make sure I have enough room, so 6 by 12, and then make all the connecting lines. Okay, so as you can see here, I went ahead and made my dots outlining my 6 by 12 for my drawer face. So here's my dots, and I went ahead and down here in my inner drawer. Okay, so the height is going to be 4 3/4. Okay, and then the only thing here is, let me bring this in and let's talk about this. Okay, so 4 3/4. Okay, that's really close to 5. So 4 3/4 is really an awkward number to convert into a 1/4 inch scale. So we're going to up that to 5 inches. So if we do that conversion, then we have 1 1/4 inches for our actual measurements there. Okay, so that's what I got. So if you're wondering why I went equal number of dots, well, or grids on my paper, that's why. Okay, then eventually we'll go ahead and dimension it, so we'll see the actual measurement there. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and start connecting the dots. Okay, so here's what I've done. I went ahead and made my box for my drawer face. So again, if I go back up to my drawing up here into the 3D model, there is our face. And in fact, if I put the front view on here, it's going to rotate. And now you can see that's the drawing that we're creating. So I created these two outer members, or those are called the styles. So let me get on here. So here's the style on the right, here's the left. So those are the ones I've drawn so far. Next I'll go in the rails. Each one of those is 2 inches. So 2 boxes of graph paper, or 1/2 inch. All right, I went ahead and finished up my drawer face. And with my labeling, so I dimensioned the 6 inches and 12 inches for my outer measurements, and then labeled my 2 styles, A and B, left and right. Top and bottom will be rail C and D, and then panel P1 will be in the middle. Eventually, yes, we will create a list, parts list for this particular face. All right, so some additional things. I did forget to put the scale in. That's one of those things, I guess we are so used to putting in there, and I just forgot. So in the upper left-hand corner, my 1/4 inch scale. All right, and then of course 1 box equals 1 inch over there. So I do want to label that. I did go ahead and label what that drawing was, is the drawer face. Okay. And then I went ahead and came down here. I did go 5 boxes, but I am going to label that 4 3/4 by 10 1/2. So go ahead and lay that out. This little notch right in here, okay, is just visually make that work out. It is right in the middle. Go about 1/2 box up. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pause, and then we're going to continue with the inner drawer 3-dimensional drawing. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the screen up there. There's our 3-dimensional drawing, and we're going to get close to that. So let's go back to our drawing itself. So to get the depth here, I messed up on that dot, so forgive me. So I went up 5 boxes, okay, and then over 5 boxes. And so if you're doing this without graph paper, so 5 boxes would be actually 1 1/4 inch, okay? So 1 1/4 inches. All right, so I went over 5 boxes to the right and up 5 boxes to get that dot right there. And I'm going to do that same thing with each of these points, okay? Even though I'm in a 1/2 of box here, I'm still going to count 1 2 3 5, come up 5. Now this dot you see here ends up being this same ratio, over 5 to the right, up 5. Okay, so I'm going to be connecting here with a line, from here to here, from here to here, and then eventually connect horizontally, then vertically. All right, so again, up 5 to the right 5, or if you do not have graph paper, that is going to be 1 1/4 inches. All right, I went ahead and finished off the drawing. I did put my final dimensioning on there, and also labeled front, back, left, and right side. Okay, just a couple things here I had to improvise, and not a huge deal. So this portion right in here, so we need to draw this vertical line right down here, but instead of going 5 boxes, which would run into this box, I really should have probably went 4 boxes, but I went 4.5 just to show that detail in there. So my mistake could be your learning, all right, on that aspect of it. So we do want to show that it does have a floor to it, so to speak, or a bottom to it. Okay, so that really wraps up the inner drawer, and then eventually here we're going to move on to the individual components for each of the inner drawer here. All right, so I went ahead here a little bit. This is going to be the front. I don't have it labeled yet, but I'll eventually put the front on. And I got to be careful here. I do want to create this notch. So a line coming across here like I did over here is not really ideal. I'm kind of messed up there. So again, my mistake is your learning. So as I create this rectangle, I do want to create, this will be a 1 inch by 1 inch notch. So visually just get that to make out. It will be in the middle, right in the middle of our 10.5. So 10.5 inches by 4 3/4. However, I did go 5 boxes, okay, 5 boxes, which would be 1 1/4 inches. Okay, remember our scaling from prior sheets. And then 10.5 is represented by 2 5/8 inches if you do not have graph paper. Okay, all right. So I did go ahead and make that rectangle, and we'll go on with some further detail, but why don't you get caught up? The extra detail that I added here is the dado. Okay, I have a 1/2 inch line here. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm going to say that it's a 1/2 inch cut. It's called a dado cut. And visually, I just want you to make it to work out, okay? It is going to be on both sides. So I'm just going to specify it on one side, but visually make this to work out, okay? And just to represent a line that there is going to be cut on both ends of this particular piece, okay? All right, I'm going to add the rest of the information for this particular drawing, okay? So the next line I put here is a 1/4 inch rabbet, okay? That's a groove that's going to run left or right. Our bottom is going to fit into that groove. Again, that is a 1/4 inch rabbet. Also, what I've done there is put a label here for a 1 inch notch. Okay, so let's label that. Then also, I labeled this as the front and back. Okay, the front and back pieces are identical, so we do not have to draw 2 of them. Okay, so let me just show you the up here on my 3D model. Let me just bring this piece back here. So here's the drawing. This is what the dados and rabbets look like. So the groove that we just are made is called a rabbet. It is right here. Okay, this fits right into there. Okay. All right, and then this rabbet back here is where the sides will fit into. Okay, so visually, why are we making those and what do they look like? Oh, in our 3D model, we can get a really good look at it. All right, so again, let's go back and let's finish up that portion, and we're going to move on to the left and right sides. All right, now moving on to the left and right sides, you can see I just went ahead and made this. I think we should be able to work from here. So I went ahead and made my rectangle on the outside. My dimensions now is going to be 10 rather than 10.5 like it was up here. Okay, so 10 inches, that ends up being 10 boxes on graph paper, or 2.5 inches without graph paper. All right, so again, this is 4 3/4. However, we went 5 boxes or 1 1/4 inch. Okay, so again, that's our left and right sides. Here's our 1/4 inch rabbet. We do not have to have the dados in the left and right sides. Okay, so again, if we go back up here to our 3D model, if I pull this up, and sure enough, you can see it has the rabbet in there, but no dados on the left and right side. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and work on the left and right sides. All right, one additional detail that I added is the 1/2 inch MDF. Okay, that's the material the inner drawer is made of, at least the front and back and left and right sides. Okay, so again, if we go up here to our 3D modeling, you can see the wood is a different tone because that is different material than the bottom, and thickness for that matter. So again, this material is 1/2 inch thick, and it is made of MDF, or medium density fiberboard. Okay, essentially particle board, medium density dust, sawdust, really kind of glued and pressed together. Nice material. This material down here for the bottom is a 1/4 inch thick, and we call that HDF, or high density fiberboard. Again, finer materials, finer particles pressed and glued together into a nice 1/4 inch thickness material. It's a little heavier, denser, and that works out really well for the bottom. Okay, so I did go ahead and start the bottom. You need to do a little bit more labeling. So 10 inches by 10 inches, here's our box, and I'll come back and label that. All right, there's my label, and I believe we have just completed the entire thing. So I'm going to come back out here so you can see that is our drawing. So follow the instructions how to submit that. Nice job.